Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Vigil team call for what are we today? June 11th. So, I mean, we're almost halfway through June. Crazy how quickly this month is going by. So, welcome all. So, I'm going to play a video from Andrew Costas to get us started. If you're a part of some of the other WhatsApp chats, it's been shared in there, but I wanted to share it here. That way it's saved for us as well. So, give me 1 second. I need to share the audio. Sorry, I didn't do that correctly. Share sound. Boom. There we go. Share. All right.
Hey everybody, Andrew Costas here, your account executive. So, wanted to talk a few minutes here about our accidental death benefit policy. Rumor has it you all sell a lot of accidental, which is awesome because clients absolutely love it. So, whether you're selling accidental as a standalone product or whether you're selling accidental as an additional or add on to maybe a term product or an IUL product or even a final expense product, again, Americo's accidental is going to be a perfect fit for you. So here's a couple key benefits about it. Number one, you don't need a health license to write the product. You only need a life license. So if you're somebody watching this video that says, you know what, I took the test, I passed it, I'm a life insurance agent, but I didn't take the health side of the test, no worries. You can still write our accidental. Number two, it comes with $1,000 all-cause death benefit. What does that mean? That means that the client passes away of any causes, we're going to be able to pay out that $1,000 to the client. And if they pass away of an accident, that's where the accidental piece kicks in for 100,000, 150, 200, up to 250,000. So why is that $1,000 all-cause death benefit important? Because it makes it unique in the industry. It makes this product unique relative to our competitors. Because with our competitors, you have to pass away of an accident to get any death benefit. With Americo, if the client were to pass away of natural causes and they have an accidental policy with us, we're going to pay out $1,000 to that beneficiary. And if they have passed away of an accident, not only do they get the $1,000, they also get the additional, again, 100,000, 150, 200 to 250,000, depending on what the client selected. The third one is it's all done through our e-application. The whole application process takes about 8 to 9 minutes, start to finish. We don't ask any health questions. We do ask some lifestyle questions, but no health questions. So what does that mean? That means the process runs very smoothly. So if you're wanting to write our accidental death benefit, the key to this is when you go into our e-application, you're going to select the term option. So you're going to see several options when you put in the client's date of birth and the state, but you're going to want to select the term option. You're going to put in the basic information on the client, their name, their date of birth, where they live, all that kind of stuff. And then on the third screen or so, it's going to give you the option to just select accidental. That's where you're going to select the accidental. So again, when you first pull up the e-application, you're going to see multiple things. You're going to see our IUL, our term, depending on age, you may see Eagle, you may see our annuities. But with that said, if you're looking for accidental, click on the term, and about the third or fourth screen in, you're going to be able to select accidental once you put the basic information of the client in. Again, this product is fantastic, whether it's sold as a standalone or whether it's sold as an addition to a product that maybe you're already sold with them or maybe one that they have with another company, but they're looking for accidental. Again, they recap very quickly the key pieces. You only need a life license, not a health license. $1,000 all-cause death benefit is huge on this product. And the third one is it can all be done through our instant decision e-application. My name's Andrew. If I can help you, if our team can help you, don't hesitate to reach out. But thanks again. Make it a great day.
So, great video from them explaining how that works. And for those of you guys that probably want to know, it's like, well, why is Americo able to sell an accidental policy without, a health license? The reason is because they put the $100,000 or the $1,000 of whole life. So you're actually selling $1,000 whole life policy that everyone qualifies for, with the writer of the accidental death policy. So the writers don't require the health license. UHL also has a standalone just like that as well. Couple things to remember though when it comes to those, if the client wants to cancel them at any point, right, 5 years down the road, next year, whatever the case is, they will require, if they live in a community property state, to have a spousal signature on that as well. Okay, so just a couple key points to think about to understand. because that's not always understood when it comes to that. So
And
um,
you need E&O.
that is correct. Yeah, you need E&O for America's products as well. Um, so I asked Brenda to um, give us like a synopsis, not to give us like a key point from what she learned, but I'm not going to ask her for that. What I'm just going to ask her for is just about her experience that she had when she went to Virginia. She sat for 2 days at this advanced markets boot camp that was by Michael Scott Forehand and a bunch of other key leaders. And I don't necessarily mean level leadership key leader, right? I'm just saying key leaders within the company that have done great things outside of the Kimbrell Master Agency. And I think that was a great thing for Brenda to see, and she'll tell you about it, right? But just getting to hear from other leaders that aren't within our Kimbrell Master Agency, you get to hear, some real candid. She had to have some real candid conversations with them, but you get to learn things how they're done differently and the way that they explained a few different things as well. So, like with like I've explained laddering policies, but Brenda heard it a different way, which works out really well. You know what I mean? And third party validation, right? Like I can tell you guys stuff till I'm blue in the face, but until you hear it from someone else in a way that you can receive it, you're not going to do anything with it until that happens. So I'm going to turn it over to Brenda just to give us a quick synopsis of her experience over there.
Yeah, and Michael touched on it, and I think the fun part of it is I was kind of like the black sheep of the group, if you wish, because I was one of the only few that weren't from that master agency. And so that was really fun. It's because it just validated that the symmetry system is being taught across the board, because everything they were talking about, everything they were implementing is all the same stuff that we talk about. So it just kind of goes to show, like, everybody has a slight different twist to things, but it's all basically the same system. And again, just goes to reinforce that every other team is not doing anything different or better. So that was kind of fun just to validate. And then yeah, just getting to meet a lot of those top leaders and stuff, like the Fine, Jeremy Fine, and his brother is Fine, don't remember. But they were both there, so it was really fun to get to meet them, and just their energy is awesome. And George Matthews was there, so it was really fun to kind of sit and talk to him a little bit. Nikki Russell, getting to hear her on stage, and then of course just Scott Forehand himself and Ruth. They're just power, knowledgeable people when it comes to stuff in this business. And so it was really fun just to kind of sit with them in a more, one-on-one setting, and just kind of to chat with them. And like Michael said, I mean, it's kind of fun hearing different things. We hear the same thing, repeatedly, but to kind of hear the same concept but explained in a different sense sometimes makes more sense, and accepting it in the brain. Like that's how I was, like it just was a different approach, and so it made sense. But yeah, I mean, just going, again, it just validates about going to these boot camps and going to these in person. You get to meet people, you get to ask them one-on-one questions. I got to chat with Scott and get a whole bunch of information on, good questions to ask for FIF resets, how to work that better, that whole process. So it just, yeah, it was a lot of fun. The amount of information that was revealed was a lot, but at the same time, it was kind of fun because, especially for like the advanced market day, which was Friday, I'm barely at the tip of the iceberg on that knowledge base. And so it really alliterated the whole drinking from a fire hydrant concept for the new people coming in, because that's how I felt throughout that whole day, was just the mass amount of information. But I tried to just think of it as like, okay, this is all stuff that we're all able to progress to if we want to. And if not, that's the beauty about the whole system we have about utilizing, the SME, or the what's the acronyms from it? The FIF, but then what SME is you're muted.
Subject matter expert.
Subject matter experts. And just they really validated that we don't have to know all the things. We have people available to us that know all the things, and that we could just pass them on to it and still reap a benefit of it. So that was a lot of fun. And some of the example clients they talked about with the different advanced markets, it's just crazy to know how in depth we can really help clients. even by just asking, simple additional questions. So that was really a lot of fun. And like I said, it just really goes to show that if you want to take that route, there's so much more that we can learn other than our basic bread and butter. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fun to meet everybody in person. Um, yeah, got to actually meet Andrew Costas, so that was fun to finally shake his hand. I've had lots of text messages and emails back and forth with him, so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, just all like Michael said, a lot of the top producing leaders in the company were there, and just to kind of be in the same room with them was fun.
Yeah, I mean, we had people from all the way from California that went. You know what I mean? Ryan Federico and his team showed up. He had a handful of his people there. So it's just one of those great opportunities. If you see something that's in your area, try to make it. For you New Mexico people, right? We've got Kelly and Scott Summers coming to Albuquerque on Wednesday.
They were there also. Yeah, they were in Virginia also.
Yeah. So I mean, they're jet setting all over the place right now, and then the Kimbrels will start that as well because this weekend they're in California. They'll be back in Albuquerque, and then they're headed up to Boise, then California. You know what I mean? So they're going to be all over the place too, and try to get close as well. I know, Linda, you're kind of in a weird area, right? Like Minnesota's like way over here up on the top, and like nothing really goes on around you. But we're trying to get some more things happening in the state of Minnesota as well. So don't think that you're alone in it. But a lot of these ones will also have some virtual options to attend as well. So we're going to try to get that implemented a lot more. I'm working on getting that implemented for the Wednesday one. That way you guys have access to that as well. So if not, at least maybe I can just get it recorded. I've done these boot camps before, and we've done the virtual side because our team was primarily based in New Mexico when we lived there. And now we've grown we're all over the place. I mean, we are literally coast to coast when it comes to people just on this team. And I was hoping that Leonard was going to jump on, but he was in an appointment. Man, talk about someone that's taking the bull by the horns, and this is kind of where the conversation is going to go. But he has literally sat with 4 families. He's written 3 applications on that. He's at 3,600 APV in the last 5 days, and all of them are issue paid. All of them are Mutual of Omaha. You know what I mean? They were all instant approval. So he's doing his homework, calling the carriers, making sure that they qualify for these products. But when it comes to what we do here, right? I know a lot of people struggle with investing in leads. So I can't stress how important it is to invest in leads. But if you're struggling to invest in leads, there's other ways that you can get business. And this is something I shared with Brenda and Valerie yesterday, right? So if you guys go to SFG Quotes and click on Vigil Agency, we have a team page there that requires a login. So it's team capital T 2024. So team 24 with the capital T is the password. You go in there, go enter the site, and then you can go to the recruiting, and there's text messages that you can do there, right? That you can put there. But on the consumer side, you can send text messages to friends. So Brenda was telling me about how she learned about decreasing term, right? What did they call it? Was it just decreasing?
They called it a 2030 plan.
Yep. So a 2030 plan. So it's also known as laddering, something that Matt and I have taught about. But 2030 plan sounds better, right? What the heck is laddering? What is decreasing term? But when you tell them a 2030 plan, what you're doing is you're putting multiple policies in place, right? So you let's say that Linda has a $500,000 mortgage, right? So if you look at your amortization schedule, you're going to look at it, and year 18 to year 20 is when you really start, all your money starts going to principal. Up until that point, a majority of your money is going to the interest and very little is going to the principal. So what we do is we'll set up 2 policies, right? We'll do a $300,000 policy for, we'll just say for 20 years. And then we'll do a $200,000 policy for 30 years. So the client is getting insured for $500,000 today. The premium is probably lower. In most cases, it's significantly lower by getting the 20 and the 30-year plan, because one's a 300,000, one's a 200,000. You're not paying for one big $500,000 policy. So in 20 years, when at least half their mortgage is covered, right, the $300,000 policy falls off, and then you have the $20,000 or the $200,000 policy. And like Brenda was saying, one of the things that they mentioned is you want to make sure that's a convertible policy as well. So when you get to the end of that 30-year policy, you can convert it to a permanent policy or a whole life plan or an IUL, right? Some of the other things that you can do with that without trying to confuse you anymore is do a 20-year return of premium and a 30-year super cheap term. That way, when the 20-year comes up, they get all that money back, and you can technically take all that money from the ROP and pay for the rest of that 30-year term policy, or buy yourself a paid up policy. So just some other things to think about, right? So as you're going through this process, you don't want to necessarily practice this with a lead client, right? So what you can do, we'll say Linda, right? So Linda, you know that one of your teacher friends just got a nice raise, right? For whatever reason, maybe they leveled up in training or whatever that term is with teachers, and they now they can afford to buy a house. So you're going to sit with them, right, about buying the house, about getting mortgage protection, and you can just tell them, hey, look, hey Susan, I'm just learning about this new concept that we have here with what we do with the insurance world. And I'm not asking you to buy anything. I really just want to sit with a real person that has just purchased a house and explain the benefit of this, just so I can get the practice. Set up 10 of those appointments with people, right? And as you're going through it, you'll probably sell 3 of them, right? You may not do the whole thing, but you'll get their interest enough. But while you're sitting with them, say, hey, Susan, I really do appreciate you taking the time to go through this process with me. Is there anyone that you can think of that would benefit from this type of service that I'm offering? And just brainstorm with them, right? And try to get 10 referrals from them. If you sit with 10 people and you get 10 referrals, that's 100 new leads that you didn't pay for anything on. And all you have to do is sit there with a piece of paper, so you can have it pre-printed, you know what I mean, or have it up on the screen. And when they give you the first one, right, and who else? And who else? Do you know of any dentists or doctors in the area that just bought a house? Or any of your personal relatives or friends that have just purchased a house or refinanced a house? And just keep going down that list and just keep saying, and who else? And just be quiet. People don't like silence, right? So they're going to talk before you do. If you just sit there in silence, guys, silence is probably one of the best tools that we have when it comes to selling. Say your piece, shut up, let them talk.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the same opportunity on the referral side, or on the agency side. So I'm going to show you guys that. Go here. So if we go right to SOG quotes, and then we go to Vigil agency, and then you'll type in whoever your mentor is. And you can come right down here to recruiting, and we have different text messages that you can use, right? So you can use this one, and I like this one quite a bit. This is the one that I really like. So it's this whole thing right here. Okay, we're gonna go through this. So and then I'm going to pick on you because you know a lot of people that are looking to transition, right? So hey Susan, hope things are awesome on your end. I've thought of you as I've been tasked with growth efforts for my company. You can say my agency, whatever you want, right? In the East Coast area, and I love your help. You can change that East Coast to whatever area you want, right? I've been tasked with growing the agency here in Minnesota. We're short on agents here in Minnesota. So we need quality people for both sales and sales leadership positions, and are trying to hire on a referral basis as much as possible. I know and this is where you're building them up, right? So I know that you'd know the kind of person that we're looking for, so I thought I'd run it past you. And then the next part, right? So positions that we're looking to fill are part-time, 30 to 50,000, and full-time, 70 to 150,000 a year. So no, and you guys can read it, but make sure you include all of this in the messages that you're sharing with them. And guys, all of these are available on the team page that we have for you, right? And you'd be surprised at how many people are like, you know what? My sister-in-law is great. She knows how to talk to people really well. She's a professional. She's just going to get back into the workforce because her kids have started to go to school or daycare, whatever the case is, and she's looking to get back into the workforce. Or, hey, my brother-in-law was just laid off. I think he'd be a really good fit for you. Let me connect you guys. And you'd be surprised at how many people are willing to help you because you looked at them as someone that has clout or esteem. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm turning to you and asking you, who do you know that can help me grow this somewhere else? And then It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. Be like, hey, is this something I can do? And just turn it over. You know what I mean? And then just send them to me, send them to someone else on the team, right? Let someone else do the heavy lifting for you. There's no party like a third party, right? You hear that all the time. Third party validation goes a long way. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I
Right.
definitely like it. I can definitely start brainstorming on people I can send that to. I did talk to one person in Wisconsin that is interested in knowing more about the company. So I was going to talk to you about that. Like, should I reach out to her and say, my supervisor, you wants to have a second interview, or she wasn't able to jump on one of those calls on Monday, Tuesday yet. I think next week she's available.
So the best thing that you can do, Linda, is just pop them into Bitrix. This is what I was telling the ladies yesterday. I was like, literally, if you've already had that conversation with them, just say, hey,
Mhm.
what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to put you into a text with our agency owner, whatever you want to say, right? With my business partner. With you, try not to say agency owner. You know what I mean? Like people
Yeah.
don't really know that. But just say, hey, I'm going to put you in touch with our recruiting director or our director of operation, whatever the case is, right? And you can set up an interview with them. So we'll send you a text. It'll have a link so you can schedule a time to visit with them. And then in Bitrix, my calendar is attached there already, so they can click schedule their interview. I'll do the interview for them. If they come on board, we already have your guys' Excel code. If you don't have one yet, let's make sure we get you set up. If not, we'll use ours. And then we'll get them the contract, one, and then two, we'll get them the Excel discount code and with the instructions to set them up. And as they start to go through that process, you as the recruiter will start to get the messages as well. Hey, Linda, Susan signed up. She signed up for her tests. She had her second interview. We've already sent out contracting for her. So make sure you reach out to her. And then as he goes through the testing, hey, Linda, Susan is at 25% through testing. Reach out, tell her congratulations, keep it up, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So
So how would I go about getting that started then?
so are you registered in Bitrix?
No.
Okay. So we'll get you stay on after this and I'll walk you through that. Okay. Anyone else that wants to go through that as well, we'll walk through that. Okay. Anyone else? No, nothing. I know today was kind of like a fire hoses, right? As well, right? I mean, there's a lot of information. Little, just we only covered on a few things, but it's enough to take home and digest and really understand it. Go ahead, Shania.
I was just gonna share that it doesn't seem like it's like gonna work, or it's gonna seem like it's awkward or something like that. But the way that I started with Symmetry is actually through my sister seeing Matt's post saying, "Hey, we're hiring." And she was the one that was like, "My sister would be great at this. She wants something that's at home with her kids. Like, I think she'd be great at this." And that's literally how I got started. So it may seem like the smallest gesture may not do something, but it's the ones that you don't think are looking are looking.
And thank you for that, Shania, because sometimes we do need to see and hear the validation of what we do and how it works, right? Because one thing I was telling Brenda and Val yesterday is, guys, Bitrix is new to us, right? So it seems odd. It may be like, I don't know if I trust this, but we have to trust that the system works. If you guys look at who the fastest growing agencies are right now, the Pac West is literally the fastest growing agency in Symmetry, even more so than Susan or Jamie Susie right now and her agency. And it's because of Bitrix, literally because of Bitrix, right? It does all the heavy lifting for you guys. It sends out the text messages, it sends out the emails, it lets you guys know where they're at and what stage they're at in the process. So all it is we just got to get you guys set up. Everyone make sure you have your Calendly set up. Everyone make sure you have your discount code for Excel. And if you don't have those links for that, let me know and I'll get the email sent off to Excel. It doesn't cost you anything. That's the thing. You know what I mean? None of this is costing you guys anything right now. At some point, there's probably going to be a charge, right? And as you level up, that's one of those things you got to take responsibility for. But it doesn't really matter, right? So if you're bringing in $1,500 a week in overrides, you're using that to reinvest back into your business. and that compounds on itself. I gave Brenda a real simple example. Guys, so if you're at a 90 contract, 90% contract, and you recruit 5 people, okay, ready to write, and they only write 1 application a week at the average of 1,000, right? You got a 10-point spread there. You're making $100 off every policy that they sell. So if you have only 5 people and they sell 5 policies, that's a $500 deposit. So think about how that compounds over time. And then as you move up, right, you go from 90 to 95 to 100, you get a 20-point spread. So on and so forth, right? They're going to grow as well, but then you bring in the new people and that spread continues to grow. So guys, like if I bring on someone right now, right, 80% contract, they sell an average policy, that's a $300 deposit.
Yep.
You have 5 of those people, that's $1,500 a week, $6,000 a month, 5 people, you know what I mean?
That'll pay for the leads for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm serious, guys. Everything works as long as you work it. And that's part of the messaging yesterday with Jama on the huddle, right? That was part of the message I sent you guys this morning on WhatsApp, right? Like, we have every single tool available to us. And sometimes it may seem overwhelming. Focus on 3 to 5 things every single week that you have control over. Stick with that. Once you get rolling with that, add something else to the mix, right? And if you can't add it, hire it out. This may sound silly to you guys, but, and Julia may chime in on this, but I bought us a robot vacuum mop, because we have 4 dogs. We'll have 2 after today, but we have 4 dogs. They come in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out all day long, chasing squirrels, chasing the people, you know, walking up and down the road. Like, literally, I will sweep in the morning, like get all the big stuff up. And by the time that I walk out of here after running my morning meetings or being on the daily huddle, I'll walk out there and there's leaves everywhere, there's dust. And I'm just like, this is crazy, you know? Think about that. If you do that 3 to 5 times a day and you're picking up, right, that adds up 10, 15 minutes every single day. So we'll just say I do it 3 times a day for 15 minutes. That's $45. How much is your time worth? Julie and I calculated how much my hourly rate is worth right now. Right now, it's about $250 an hour. Do you know how much a vacuum cost me? I bought it on sale at Amazon for $140. So I'm already making money because we bought the stupid vacuum. You know what I mean? Like, hire it out. Avila, I saw you on mute.
I'm jumping in and out. I was driving here and now I'm on the computer.
Oh, no worries. One of the other things that we did, and we did this before we moved and we haven't gotten back on it, is we did Factor for about 2 months. We were in the process of growing really crazy. And I didn't have time to meal prep and I didn't have time to go to the store. And Julia this was before we moved, she was taking care of our nieces, right? And then we had baseball, all that stuff going on. You know how life gets. So we ordered Factor for at least 3 of our meals every week. And during that 2 months, it was awesome. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have to go to the grocery store. We didn't have to think about what was for dinner. I literally popped them in the microwave, especially when you're focused. How many of you guys have ever been so focused here, like you forget to eat? Or you're so focused and you get up to go and eat and 3.5 hours passes by. You're like, because you did the dishes that were in the sink, you threw in a load of laundry, and then you're like, oh, I got to go pick up my prescription from the drugstore, right? And before you know it, you fell completely off task. But if you have these simple things, and you hear about it all the time, Kelly Bush talked about it. What was the other girl's name? Nikki Russell talks about it all the time too, right? Hire out those things. You may not think you can afford it, but you can't afford. You cannot. What is it? How do you say it? You can't afford not to afford it. Yeah, So I hope that today's message is insightful and it's encouraging. And just know that, I mean, we're all in the same place. And if you guys listened to Jama's talk yesterday, and if you didn't, go back and listen to it, like, we all want to quit this business at some point. Those people that can get through that I want to quit phase are the ones that succeed here. Because we all want to quit at some point. Lisa wants to quit all the time. Ask her. Ask Lisa Kimbrell. She'll tell you, I can't deal with people all the time. And she's probably one of the best people that she loves loving on people. You know what I mean? She literally loves it. But it can be taxing on the mind. So
Just a question, because I looked through your text from this morning. What does RASS stand for? I know it, but it's not coming to mind.
resources, activity, schedule, what's the
System.
system.
System?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Linda. See, I didn't.
Yep, Linda.
I've got my book right here.
And see, I have all that stuff.
From the huddle. I take notes.
I have all my stuff too, but I just took it off the wall because I'm getting ready to paint the walls. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
I was like, find it. I got it.
I wanted to make a quick comment on what was said earlier from Mrs. Padilla. We want to make sure, that magic question is a perfect example of her being here is sometimes the people that you approach, it's about if they say no, who do you know? Just like it was her sister, right? So I will tell you that in previous companies, some of the best people I've ever worked with were not the person I was prospecting, but a person they led me to. And that was in several companies. And that kind of resonated with me today. And I thought I would just emphasize that a lot of times it really is somebody you reach out to and they say no, but you go, well, who do you know? And they're not going to tell you no a second time, right? So they may go, oh yeah, my friend Brenda was kind of looking. Everybody knows somebody. And how many times have you heard anybody say, hey, if I'm looking for a job, let me know or something, so anyway, we just got ours in,
Okay. Yep.
days ago. It was on sale for $39 on Amazon, marked down from $369, but it's a cheap China knockoff. So I don't know if yours, does it suck in on yours? Does it suck? This doesn't, it just has like this little attachment.
Yep.
And, but it does steam, but for $39.
Yep. And they work, guys. I'm not even joking. I was actually disgusted, you know what I mean, with how much stuff it finds because it goes underneath everything, like if it fits, it goes underneath stuff. And I was like, oh wow, maybe I should move that stuff more often. But so you'll hear Danny Young saying all the time, right? Work through people's people.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his best people have come 3 or 4 downline where those people have left the business and then they go direct to Danny because those people are no longer in the business. Jim Larson was one of those guys, right? He's the one that found Jamie Susie and Sarah Reinecke. He brought them into the business. He quit, and now look at where he's at, right? He had to start all over, but now he's at a 130 again. So it's pretty cool how that works.
Same
And then
with Ashley Tarr and Sarah Pappas.
Yep, absolutely. They were brought in by what was his name? Oh,
Chisholm, above Tom Chisholm.
yeah, there was a guy that brought in Tom Chisholm. Tom Chisholm has sold $5 million of APV.
Dang.
Could you imagine being on the receiving end of that? Even 10%, right? What's 10% of 5 million, guys?
A lot.
500,000, $500,000 in overrides. Right? That's crazy. And it's possible. So the other, and we've talked about this before, but for the new people, right? When you're sitting with someone or on Zoom with someone or just talking to someone, at the end of your conversation is, so we'll go back to Linda. So Susan, part of what we do here is I wear 2 hats, right? So my first hat is to make sure that you guys are taken care of. So that's what we just did today. We took care of the mortgage for you. But the other thing that we do is we're looking for really other people that can do what I do. We have a shortage of people. We have 100,000 leads still sitting out there. You don't have to say leads, you know what I mean? We have 100,000 families here in Minnesota that are looking for our help, and I can't get to 100,000 people. Can you get to 100,000 people? No, you know what I mean? So we're looking for a handful of quality people. Who do you know that might be interested in this?
Mm-hmm.
And you use that 2 hat scenario, it works, guys. Trust me. Northwestern Mutual does a great job of that. Yeah.
My cousin's husband works at Northwestern Mutual. My goal is to get him over here, but I don't know.
And you can, trust me. Once they see how much more we make here than over there.
Mm-hmm.
I was
And we
gonna
have,
say you have two prime people who left that. I mean, between Michael and Matt, those are both, third party validation that the grass is greener. That all matters is just getting them to have an open, ear on an opportunity. And you got two people, willing to testify on it.
yep, absolutely. And we have a bunch of Northwestern people here. You got Tasha Mitchell, who's the admin for the Kimbrells now. You got Alexandria Nolan, agency owner in Albuquerque. What is his name? Mike Colburn, Jennifer and Mike Colburn. Mike Colburn was Matt, what was he? He was like third or second from the top with Northwestern Mutual.
Yeah, he was like Steve. I think that they call him, I don't know if they're partners, managing partners or district partners or something like that.
He was a managing partner with Northwestern Mutual. And that would be like a Darren position right now, right? Senior vice president, the same idea. And he saw the vision here, right? And the other thing that he really liked was the fact that we do have leads. And you can grow a team. You don't have to wait to get to a certain position in order to start, building a team or growing or creating an agency for yourself. And that's the other great thing, right? We have two paths, right? You can strictly be a producer if you want to, but I promise you're going to get burned out at some point. So become a really great producer and start to grow a team at the same time, and let the system, let the system do the work, right? So, all right, I'll go ahead and stop the recording now.